and kind of take things the hard way. They have to wait and learn till something really radical happens to them. We've seen them come and go. We've seen them pass away too. And it's kind of ironic, if maybe it's ironic, but some of the biggest trolls on here did pass away. Fazio, go down the list. Go down the list. They met their fate. We all got to go, that's for damn sure. But some go earlier than others, either by their lifestyle, so forth, their attitude. Ed Savino says, Jay is heading to Bantayan Island. He is at the airport as of now from a video. I don't own Bantayan Island. He come Bantayan anytime he wants. He ain't coming to my house, though, I'll guarantee you that. He ain't got the balls to do that. I'll guarantee that. He's had through the years many encounters with other YouTubers that wanted to kick his ass, or he claimed he was going to kick their ass, but he never got together with them, ever. I know, I know he's a loser, and also I know. Well, I know the thing is, I don't have to live his life. I'm not living with mommy. I'd say he's terribly insecure if he has to live with his mother. He really is. Maybe she's the only one that keeps him at bay or something. I don't know. His drinking and everything else. I don't know. Or maybe he's contributing to the rent or something. That's why she keeps him there or something. I don't know. But I'm sure she's put up with a lot of shit with him. But then again, he sits down and gets drunk with her too. So. Oh, look at the sun coming in here this morning. My goodness. Got a bright, sunny morning here today. God, we go through cleaning rags around here, just wiping my glass table down. It's always filthy with something. Jeez. Not many people clean up after themselves around here. I wind up. Oh, my girlfriend does, and nobody cleans up. Mostly around here. No, Ricky ain't going to get off. But I think Ricky's aware. You might not think he's aware of anything, but I think he's aware of the damage he's caused a lot of people. And you don't understand that people have memories. And one day he's going to walk somewhere and a big surprise might happen to him. You never know. He's walking on eggshells. And when you do shows like what Ricky does, he's walking on eggshells all the time. Even people like Scotty Boy, God. He even talks in third party. That guy is an accident waiting to happen. I can't help thinking he looks like a cartoon character. Like, I don't know. His hair shifts to one side. It's kind of poofy. And it goes to one side. There's something about his face that's almost like you look at it as some kind of animation or something, some kind of a loony cartoon character. Seriously. You see close-ups of him. I don't think he's normal. I just don't think he's normal. Again, who is normal on here? I question my own sanity for going on YouTube. Who is normal on here? I don't know who's normal. Scotty is not normal. He's like 40-ish, but has the, I don't know, as far as intellect and emotion, it's like a fucking, I don't know, he's maybe like a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, or a boy just going into puberty or something. That's the best one. That's how I describe him. Entering puberty. Morning expat. Yeah, Scotty really does have issues. He really does. They all have issues on here. Nothing new with that. But we could just point them out now and then. There's no, it's not a vice or anything that, to talk about. It's not against the law to point out maybe what you've heard on YouTube. And as I said, again, what you've heard, that's the key word, or what you've seen, which makes it factual. It's not just hearsay. It's factual because you've seen it, you heard it, and everybody else does. Bueno Cano is back. Ricky was pretty nervous after the woman. Let's see. Ricky was pretty nervous after that woman cussed him out. Which woman was this? What am I missing here? Was that recently? Is that why he's getting off YouTube? In person somewhere, some woman cursed him out. How did this happen, and where was he at the time? Heminger says Brevis 900,000 story was laughable, Frank. I know. I did get a good laugh out of that. I even commented to Brevis on that. Brevis is now making up stories about his wealth. He's always done that. Hemi, are you still cutting hair at the salon? Now, tell me about the Ricky thing. What woman cursed him out? Please finish your story on that. Which woman cursed him out? My favorite nautical show is on right now, but I'm spending my time with you guys rather than watching that. 19 watching and 1 thumbs up. That's pretty typical on here. Frank, did you file a case today against Jay? No. Where's all that coming out? I have a lot of evidence on Jay, but no, I didn't file any cases on him. Why? Why'd you ask that? Oh. Says you should. Look, this is not my endeavor to file cases on everybody, okay? If the need comes up, I absolutely do it, and I always got the evidence for it just in case. But I'm not going through my life filing cases on people unless it's entirely necessary. You should have the docket sent ASAP. Miss him say LOL, but Jay deserves it. Jay's not very well, okay? His horrible attitude about women, too, is terrible. Kind of like Nico, the way he looked down on women as just hoes and good for one thing. What a horrible way of going through life thinking that. Bueno Cano says 2 or 3 live streams ago, some Kenyan woman called him a creep, and he ended the stream after that. What, just because a woman called him a creep? 2, 3. Oh, and was she like in the street, or just a comment on his show, or what? I wouldn't deal with a Kenyan woman. Oh my gosh. Was this, was she on camera when he was out in the street or something, or what? You're not really explaining. You can only go so far on here. You could take it a long way on trying to, get people to watch your show and stuff, and you do all crazy antics and stuff, but it all winds up biting you in the ass later on. Pattaya has a lot of African workers, so she was a swur. What's a swur? Come on, guys. A swur. What's an SWER, Mrs. Heminger? A Kenyan swerker. What's a swerker? We'll give him a life lesson. Worker. Well, spell it right. You talk about my spelling. Mine are just typos, but Jesus Christ. A Kenya worker. Give him a little lesson. So this was on the street. It was on a live stream of his. This is not like just comments she was making on his show. He was approached by her or something. She was walking past and he tried to pick her up, embarrassing a lot of people around. The filter will stop it. Oh, I wish I could have seen that. Ricky's not seeing no action. He could carry all the Viagra pills in the world with him. It doesn't mean he's seen any action. The mechanics have to work, and sometimes Viagra is not going to do that. You know, that flag, could only salute for a long period of time. Then it gets kind of haggard after a while and ripped up and torn, and then you can't even wind up using the equipment anymore. And all the medicines he's taking, says something. Oh, they're all studs, they're all studs in their dreams and their own delusional mind. They're all studs. Good morning, sweet cakes. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning it is. Look, a beautiful sunny morning, huh? Sunny boy, sunny boy. Okay, I gotta read stuff here. I'm sorry, I'm just preoccupied at the moment. Let's see. Oh, God. I can see the hair on the floor in the sunlight. It doesn't look very pleasant. I got a big job. Oh, my God. Well, having dogs. You ever see when the sunlight just comes in your house and you can look at the floor and say, holy shit. I can see all the damn dog hairs from them scratching and stuff. Scratching. Okay, I didn't read some comments here. Hamish says, Frank, you don't hear this from me first, but rumors that Jay is going to go straight to Van Tyen and make you think he was going to go to Thailand first, but going to stop. He ain't going nowhere near my house. He's pretending he's gone to Thailand, but his itinerary is Van Thailand. I wish he would come here. I've got the resources here to make sure he's in jail. Jay has nothing on Frank. Yep. Your live streams are good, MLSO says. They're always good. They're always good. They're never bad. Channel of truth, my friends. Channel of truth. Justice in the American way. Funny thing? Here's a funny thing. I don't have a big channel. I don't have like millions of subscribers and all that shit like people do. But you know the weird thing about this? My channel seems to have more strength, more topic matter, and, less bullshit than most of these big time channels that are making big ass money and have big time subscribers. It's really amazing how this works. I'm small potatoes, but yet I'm a powerhouse at the same time. Heminger says Brevis is pushing Jay to go to Van Tyen first. Brevis is the master. It's actually not Ricky. Ricky has actually told Jay to lay off you, believe it or not. Really? Never heard that. Never heard that one. Ricky is a distraction, Frank. Brevis is the one cozying up to Jay and pushing him to attack you. Look, people have learned a lesson on here, especially what happened to Barry. Nobody's going to attack anybody on here. They're certainly not going to come to my island, which is my hometown, with my connections and my support in this town, and put them in a position where they're going to wind up getting hurt or go to jail. I don't think that's their endeavor. Emiliso says, you are real. The others are fake. And Savino says, that's what I heard on Discord. You hear a lot of things on Discord, right? Don't mean they're true. Don't mean they're not either sometimes. Heminger says, the rumor is Ricky is having a fight with Brevis behind the scenes. It is dealing with a lot of issues. It's Brevis trying to push Jay to do stuff against you. They've been doing stuff against me for a long time. Brevis has been behind a lot of shit, man. Let me tell you, a lot of shit. And I know that. And if anything should happen to anybody, it should be Brevis, let me tell you. Well, as one of them. But Brevis has been the coward that's been behind a whole lot of shit. Brevis is not well mentally. I want you all to note that. He is not well mentally. He's an actual stalker. When I first looked into his empty eyes, me and Gilda, we knew, like Barry said, there's nobody home. Look at my eyes. Do you ever see and remember when Brevis is in the bars and he sets up his camera on the table so he could photograph all the action going on in the bar? Then, periodically, he would come up to the camera and stare into it, maybe, to look at the comments, right? And these eyes, empty black eyes, empty. He'll indiscriminately just sometimes come up to the camera and stare at it. And his eyes, it's truly like nobody is home. I mean, for real. Hammond just says, watch some Rocky movies, Frank, to make sure you haven't laxed. Like his son says, he is still angry that Frank exposed his real name. Yeah, I'm the one that exposed it. Although, who is it that took the credit? Allo took the credit at the time. No, it was not Allo. It was not Allo, folks. It was me. Sometimes I do my own research. I don't depend on what's told on, you know, Discord or crap like that. I don't even go to Discord. I'm not a member of Discord. Never was. Everybody's got their crosses to bear. Everybody's got something hidden in their closet. But then it winds up getting exposed eventually. Maybe not right away, but look at all the information highway out there and how so much information came out on just about every YouTuber out there. Every YouTuber. Look what they did with me. Oh, they went in my records to see if I had bankruptcies and all that shit. If they want to do the research, they do the research. But if you want to do the research, put out the real information. It's not sugarcoat anything either, but why are they so interested in somebody's life? I don't understand it. Why are people so interested in my life, for example? Nothing incredulous about my life. There's nothing, really, there really isn't. My life is pretty mundane, really. I mean, there isn't. There just isn't. And yes, I have done things in my life that other people have not done, and they're not happy with that. They're not happy when I'm happy because they're not happy. You know how it works. Even John Blaze got exposed by Yes, he did. He hasn't been on, and I think because when things go south in their relationships, they're not going to come on. I think since his wife became Americanized, it all went downhill. She made a lot of Filipino friends and otherwise out there, and left him in the dust. He was even talking about it at one point in time. She's always busy with all these Filipinos. He don't know what to do with himself. He said, "Oh, I'm retired now," he said. I think the biggest mistake, and I always say it, don't take your Filipina to United States. Don't do that. Same thing in the doctor's office. Come in there, wag your hand. It hurts when I do that, doctor. The doctor tells him not to do that. It won't hurt. If it only hurts when you wag your hand, don't do it then. I mean, you get the point. Yeah, I know. Look, I got my ways too. If I want to research, I can research as well as anybody else on here. I know more about these people on here than I ever let up and even bring on YouTube. It's just a waste of time, though. Because I really don't care about their lives. I don't care what the fuck they do. Just don't do it to me, buddy. And don't do it to somebody I love. That's where I draw the line. I draw that line in the sand, that imaginary line I talk about all the time. And Barry stepped over it for one. There's a number of people. I said, I may be getting older, but my memory ain't that bad. My memory's not bad. I remember every foul, disgusting, nasty, you know, lie and everything that anybody has ever said to me, about me, or mine. My memory is good for that. Just trust me on that. Trust me on that. If you didn't trust me on anything, trust me on that. I don't forget. Elephants don't forget. Well, Frank doesn't forget either. If you've seen the evidence I got here on certain people on YouTube, you wouldn't believe it. Yes, I do. I'm like Warren in a way. Remember, Warren is always copying and notes like Fazio, always taking notes. Well, I don't take notes like Fazio. I just, you know, gather the evidence. Real videos, not third party videos, not third party. The real actual videos showing their name, their image. That's what I got. Speaks for itself. MLSO said Big E should bail Barry out of jail. He won't do that because he knows that two things, because he knows that Barry is wrong. He doesn't want to admit it because he doesn't want to give in to me. He knows Barry is wrong. He knows everything that Barry has done, but he won't give in to me, and he won't help Barry out because it means that Barry would have to pay me what the court has ordered him to do. Big E will not do that. He will not do that. He's got the money to do it. I'm sure he does. I don't think there's any hype on him having money. I think he's had an inheritance. I think a lot of things. I don't doubt that he has any money. Money doesn't solve all problems, though, as he's been finding out in his own life. Money can get you in trouble. It can make that famous sword above your head if you don't act appropriately and give in to a Filipina the way they want you to. They'll hold that sword over your head until you give in and smooth everything over. Isn't that the way it works? The high roaders dumped Barry like a bad habit, Bueno Keno says. Viking says Barry's bail money paid for Apple's new phone. Yeah, it did. Well, that's, for Barry, for believing people. That's his own, fault for believing people. Barry was just a tool for entertainment to people. They wanted him to act stupid on camera. They wanted him to get drunk on camera. They wanted him to say all these things on camera because they were just watching a man destroying himself. And they just got a lot of joy. I got joy out of Barry destroying himself. I'm not going to lie to you. I got a lot of joy. And then when he finally pleaded guilty, that was it. Done deal. Anything beyond that point is Barry's gig. A lot of people like to say on here that, somebody made a comment on here. It's either on Barry's channel recently or mine. Either I commented on there, they said something, or it's on my channel. That Barry's imprisonment was too much. I mean, it's not like he committed murder or something. He's been in jail too long. Well, let me respond to that. Where Barry is right now has nothing to do with me in a sense, because they were saying that Barry deserves his freedom. Okay, fine. But he's the one responsible for still being locked up. He could remedy that. He could go home within a week or so. If he would pay the court fines and everything else, he'd go home. There's nothing they can say about it. I have nothing to do with this. How long Barry stays in jail has nothing to do with me. In the sense that, I'm keeping him there. I'm not keeping him there. I have nothing to do with his length of stay let's make this perfectly clear, maybe once and final and for all. I have nothing to do with his length of stay. It's all him. He wants to hold on to certain money he has for when he does get deported, but it's a catch-22. It's he's not going to get deported unless he pays the court and me, and that's just the bottom line of it. He could have his freedom if the dude could have his freedom if he really wants his freedom. But they're jumping on me saying, "No, you're responsible for how long he's been in jail, Big E and everybody else." No, that's wrong. He's responsible about how long he's in jail, not me. No. Contrary to what anybody believes on here, it's Barry's own doing it. It's not mine. How long he stays in jail is really up to him. It's not up to me. I don't have a special order on there saying keep the motherfucker in jail. I have nothing to do with it at this point. I have nothing to do with Barry at this point. It's all on him. It's all on him. Pay the damn court penalties and fines or whatever. And, He'll be home free. It's as simple as that. There's nothing complicated about this. Nothing complicated at all. In fact, he can go home, but it's his stubbornness and cockiness that's preventing him from going home. That's his deal. That's his gig. It's not mine. Lose a little pride. Pay the fucking fees and fines for the court ordered, and you'll be on your way home. It's really that simple. It's not complicated. Stefan, Ricky ran off of YouTube with all of Barry's money. Nice friend. Ricky's not a friend to anyone. Understand that. He's a friend to himself. He's self-centered, self-focused, and besides being a fucking maniac. There are problems to there are solutions to problems, and if you don't execute these things, that's all you're doing. I can't take any blame of how long Barry's in jail. Freedom bell rings for him anytime. Anytime. But even his so-called supporters that claimed it, the high roaders, even they will not give in. The Free Barry J campaign and all this shit, where did that go? Everybody knows Barry did wrong. They just don't want to admit it because it would make them look like, well, they're supporting me. That's the only reason they don't admit it. Big E, Mick Fisher, all these people out there. Ricky, all these people. They know what Barry's done other than what he's done with me. Everybody. It's an open book with Barry. Everybody's aware. They all know that he should be in prison. They all know that. They all know that I did everybody a favor by initially getting him with a case and charged and all that. And, him even admitting fault, pleading guilty because he knew he was guilty. So why am I a bad guy for that when Barry has pleaded guilty on his own? Nobody put a knife to his neck or a gun to his temple. Barry pleaded guilty on his own. Well, with the hopes that he was going to go home right away. But that didn't work out very well for him, did it? The judge said, hey, dude, pay this, pay that. And where you go from there is your business. You'll be on your way home. I know you're probably listening, Barry. You're such a fucking dumb shit. You know that, man? Forget about the money that you held for when you're going to be getting home and all that. I understand that. You want to have some money to get situated when you get back home. I understand that completely. But look where you're at right now. Even though you're in a detention part of the prison, you're still in one of the two of the worst prisons in the Philippines. Your ticket is waiting to go home. You just got to pay your dues. That's what you have to do. To the court-ordered dues that, in your case, was put forward, and that's your ticket to freedom. Hemminger says, it sounds like you're not scared of jail. Why should I be? I just don't care, right? Gators rock. Yeah, he still is in prison. Hemminger says, oh, Barry was not moved out of rail jail? Question mark. No, he's in some kind of a detention part there. But the problem is he's with a bunch of Chinese. He's all the leftovers from the pogo shit, the pogo workers, whatever. And you don't mess with these Chinese, man. They got balls of steel. You don't mess with the Chinese in there. And I can only imagine how many incidents probably has happened in that institution with Barry with his big mouth. I can't even imagine. He probably got his ass whipped a number of times already since he's been in there. Chinese are alphas. Yeah, they are. Yeah, don't mess with the Chinese. I don't care how small or whatever you think they're. There's some big ass guys too that are Chinese, but they have a constitution of a bull moose. I mean, they are not to be fucked with. Period. I mean, they're not happy, number one, of where they are, and that alone, they don't want to take any bullshit from anybody in there. And because they're in numbers compared to Barry, compared to white guys, from America, there's more Chinese in there than anything, and they group together. Just like in any prison, you have Puerto Ricans in American prisons that hang together. You got blacks that hang together. They all group together, and the Chinese all group together. All group together. Frank, you need to buy a punching bag. No, just bring Barry over here. Be my punching bag. Look, I'm not a person who advocates violence in any formal way unless it's necessary. That's just who I am. I gave you examples of things that have happened in my life just yesterday. I went to a pretty big show talking about some pretty cool shit, uncool shit that went down and how I handled it, The bummer's passport expires November 30th, 2025. Well, yeah, the thing is, you can't do anything with it anyway because you have to renew your passport 5 months. And I'm correct on this. You got to renew your passport. It has to be good for 5 months before it expires. You have to renew it 5 months before it expires. I just did mine. I got 10 years on it now. I got to go. Well, if they want him out, it don't matter. They give him a temporary passport to get him out of the country, and that's it. Then his passport is null and void, and probably will not be issued another passport, at least to go to Southeast Asia or something. I mean, it's not going to happen. Yeah, he hasn't did anything with his helmet. I don't think he's even. I don't think he's even paid anything to immigration. 7 years. Now, the question is that just kind of move on? Does the time accumulate on this, even though he's in jail? In other words, if he hasn't paid anything on his visas for the 7 years that he was not paying, and then you consider how many years he's been incarcerated, does that also add up monetarily? That maybe you could straighten me out on that. Does that also gather up too? Do they put that into the equation? How does that work? I don't see how he's paid anything on his visas all this time because he's never had money to do it. So that's interesting alone. How? So on top of everything else, of owing the court and owing me, then he owes 7+ years of visa and all this time, he's serving right now. Wow, man, if that's true. Well, the thing is, you got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. You got to start paying that down. Or else he's never going to have a chance to get out. I understand how bitter he is because of his situation, but like I said, again, he's the causative factor of his own demise. The Philippines should deport Frank. And I thought MLSO was a nice poster on here. Apparently not. Bye. You just never know, do you? You just never know. Well, I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon, let's put it that way. Barry wasted 3 years. Well, not 3 years yet, but he's getting there. Wasted 3 years in jail. Think about it. What a waste of life. Well, what is he going to offer society if he was free? He has nothing to offer to a woman. He has nothing to offer to society. Absolutely nothing. He hasn't contributed to the arts in any way. Hasn't contributed to anything in society that would be, anything redeeming, of any redeeming value or anything. What has he done in his life that has benefited somebody else? He's only done everything that would benefit himself, not anybody else. What has he done? I can't think of one goddamn thing he's done. Pro society, some contribution, philanthropical, whatever, philanthropy. What has he done? He doesn't never gave anybody. Like he liked to kick dogs. I mean, what is the value of this guy? There is no value on him at all. He's like one of these people. If he croaked, nobody will ever remember after a while, and because he doesn't leave a mark, and the only mark he leaves is something very negative. What positive mark has this guy, or is he going to leave to society, or to anybody who even has a thought of him, or his family, or friends which you don't have, or what contribution has he made in any positive way whatsoever? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, I see a lot of hair everywhere in the sunlight. Oh my God. We'll have to get the vacuum out later. But meanwhile, I could just do a little tiny sweep or something here. My goodness. That's the drawback of having dogs, especially if they're kind of like housebound dogs that prefer to be in the house around us. And yeah, that's just the way it goes, I guess. Plus, the smell sometimes. That's why we have to bathe them. They're like the cleanest dogs in the neighborhood, actually. But sometimes that dog hair just really smells. And it's really bad if we could smell it. And if we could smell it, I could imagine somebody walks into the house here. That's why we're constantly sweeping here, mopping the floor. Because that's what you do. Some people just let their place go and they don't clean up. Just really nasty shit. Okay. No, I haven't even made it. Too busy talking to you, wonderful people. I've been distracted here. In fact, I'm going to heat up the water in a segundo here. I'm going to heat it up. I don't know if I have any more lemons. Hey, listen, don't snare at that ginger. Ginger is really good to put in your tea. Don't snare at that. That's pretty good stuff to put in there too, besides the turmeric. Oh, he's got school today, huh? Yeah. School has begun. The school got some damage there too, a little bit. They got him in a different portion of the school or something. I don't know. Something to that effect. He's been off a while as far as physically going to school, Steve. Yeah. Now, everything that was going on, hurricanes and all the normal crap that happens here in the Philippines. Sometimes damage and so forth. And oh boy, yeah, I'm gonna have a heyday with the vacuum cleaner here. That's right, I gotta get my tea going. What's wrong with me? I'm losing it. I ain't got my tea going here. That would have been cooled off by now, and I'd be drinking it, Gilda. I'd be drinking it, I tell you. What are you doing with the chairs?
Because I'm very cold.
You're very cold? What are you?
I'm very cold.
You're very cold?
Cold.
Oh, you're not very tall. Okay. Okay. That you're not. All right, let's get this puppy in the micro. We're going to give it 3 minutes. It's steaming hot. Like that floor cleaner. Remember, it's steaming mad. It's steaming mad. Remember that floor scrubber? They would sell it, rent it in the supermarkets. I actually owned one of them. It gets steaming mad at dirt. It gets steaming mad. They showed this picture of this big grouchy face that's really pissed off at dirt, But we're pissed off at the dirt on here too, aren't we, folks? We're just pissed off at the dirt, the grime on YouTube here. But they all meet their maker or something happens. What's this here? Dang, Frank, we're putting you on hold. What do you mean? Oh, oh, for the tea. Hemorrhage says, I like mine heated, but then I drink it cold. Yeah, well, I don't drink it cold, just, cool down a bit. I don't like to sip it. I want to chug it all fast. 2 cups in the morning. It ain't got time to drink it slowly, and 2 times a day. Well, of course, Popeye is simulcasting. What else has got to do with his time? Duh. I don't know, folks. Can you actually feel sorry for Popeye in some way? I mean, do you have it within yourself to feel sorry for this guy? That this is his life, waiting for Frank to put on a show so he could simulcast it? That's a pretty sad life, if you ask me. And you don't have to ask me because I'll tell you anyway. It's pretty sad that somebody has to do that. Then he does his little soliloquy at the end of the show when I end it. And he'll say, oh, well, there you go. It's the same shit. The same fucking shit. And there you go. I say, well, there you go. Yeah, he's right. Well, there you go. And what? What did you accomplish, Popeye? Is this the same old fucking shit? Same old fucking speech after the simulcast. Well, there you go. Now you heard it. What is he, Howard Cosell? The new Howard Cosell on here or something? Well, there you go. Muhammad Ali put up a real fight today. What's wrong with these people, man? I've had barley tea. I don't drink it regularly. No, I've had it. I may still even have some packets of it. I don't give a shit what Jay's doing, man. I don't give a rat's ass. Jermaine. Popeye probably said, there you go, after smacking his poor ex-wife. Everybody's got skeletons in their closet, and boy, Popeye's got a lot of skeletons in his closet. How could you live in the past? I mean, we live in the present. His heyday was in Subic Bay. That's all he ever talks about. He hasn't been in the Philippines for like 40 years or something, but he acts like he's so part of the genre. He's so part of the community here. His ass hasn't been in the Philippines in 4 decades or something. And he still comes on this genre and talks about his day. That's probably the only exciting part of his life he ever had, is when he was in the Navy. That was it. He talks about as a round table where they were getting blowjobs. I think he married the woman that gave him the blowjob, in fact. Although she's a changed woman now. She met a real guy. They got a little store business together now, and she's very happy, I understand. And good for her. Good for her. You got to get away from these kind of creepy people. Your life is never going to be good. You're never going to be happy with creeps like Popeye. What has he got to look forward to? Now that all these, I believe all the soap operas are off air, and I think even General Hospital. I could be wrong. So that's why he comes on YouTube and does these shows about me. I'm in his head 24/7. 24/7. He's got his telltale. So when the simulcast is over, it's like, well, there you go. Yeah, Papa, you're right. Well, there you go. I'm glad I could entertain you and I could add some kind of a positive thing to your life. Popeye was in the PH so long ago that TVs in the BJ bar were black and white. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I don't know. I think he's a lock key or something, man. He's got some kind of a fucking disability that he's got to have that scooter, And it happens. I mean, it happens, Life happens, Shit happens. But even if he was disabled as far as not be able to walk very well. His really disabilities with his fucking brain. It's not his body. No, how could I watch? I'm on here. Airport stream. No, I'm not watching Jay's airport stream. I don't give a fuck about Jay. Hamish says, "What's up with Bob Cooper and his stories? Ever? No, they're never real. It's hard to believe that he's all over the map with his stories. Bob is. I told you, man. They're all ill on here. I mean, have you not figured that out yet? They're all ill. They're all wackadoodle. They're all lacking brain cells. They're all lacking just about everything you could possibly think of. They're all lacking. They're not well people. Why do you think Popeye comes on when I do my shows? Mostly he's concentrated on me because I have everything that he doesn't have. Some form of life. I bought this house in cash. He got that house on a quit claim deed from his mother. What does that say? He can never afford a house on his own. Come on, So-So. Come over here. He doesn't have a woman. He hasn't had a woman for God knows how long since his wife divorced him. I don't even, you know the truth? I don't even know how he even comes on, does a simulcast and talks about me afterwards because look at what he's doing, first of all. This is a guy that has no life at all and wants to come on and criticize me. For what? Did I actually have a life? Did I have a home and I'm settled? I have a woman for almost 10 years? He's got nothing on me. You know, the guy's just ill. He's ill. Bob Cooper is worse, though. If there's such thing as being worse, Bob Cooper is, that says a lot, too. Bob Cooper is really wacky doodle. You can't believe one damn thing Bob Cooper says at all. It's not even worth listening to unless you're that bored for entertainment of some sort, some warped entertainment. Bob is a wasted human, a totally wasted human, as well as a few others on here. Wasted life. I mean, here's the thing. You got one life, man. One fucking life, unless, you have some religious belief that there's reincarnation or there's some life beyond death or something. This is it. Like on a cartoon. On with the show, this is it. Stage the lights. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. On with the show. On with the show, this is it. Well, this is it, folks. Hate to tell you and bust your bubble, but this is it. This is it. And this is what you're doing with your fucking life? Seriously? Bobby, Robert, you embarrass yourself every time you do a show, every time you simulcast me. You're embarrassing yourself. You don't make yourself look very good. Have a good day. Okay. I think the breaks are good now, so. You're embarrassing yourself, Robert. Nobody cares what you talk about. They just go along with you. They're laughing at you constantly. Don't you understand that? You don't see this? You don't hear this? We know you listen to just about everything that goes on YouTube because that's what you do with your life. Because you don't have a life per se. Which is, it's sad, even for you. It's sad. Anything anybody's ever talked about me is just pure bullshit and hearsay. But in Robert's case, it's real. It's the real McCoy. It's real. It's not made up. It's reality. But he's not living in a reality as we look at reality. His life is what other people do on YouTube and completely. And he makes a fool out of himself. And he thinks these people are really supportive of him on it. They're laughing at him. Every time he does a show, they know his life and they know what it's like. And that's why they're laughing at him. Oh, there goes another simulcast with Frank. Why? What is so lacking in this guy's life that he has to just bash me all the time, has to do simulcast to me. Your life has got to be pretty goddamn fucking sad to do that kind of shit. I mean, seriously sad. Am I getting out of turmeric here? Oh, oh, that's too much. Whoa, hold on, folks. I don't mind a little turmeric in here, but that was overkill. Speaking of my tea, I'm making it right now. I don't know if I have any more lemons here. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Do we have any more lemons, dear?
No.
We're all out of lemons. Okay, we're out of lemons, so that ain't gonna work. Okay, I got pretty much what I need. Pretty much what I need in my tea. Now I gotta wait it to cool off. That's gonna take a while. Never drink anything hot. It'll definitely damage your esophagus. So never drink anything that's too hot. The tissues in your esophagus are very, very sensitive. You could definitely cause damage. Okay, guess I should read some comments. Frank, who would you vote Miss Congeniality if you had to choose only one? Fazio, Popeye, Ricky, none of them. Congeniality don't apply to them. Jermaine WP, if Popeye isn't rebroadcasting you, he just plays games of Battleship against himself. Yeah, I heard he was at the games, thinking he would have made a fine naval commander. My case this time is an illusion. Miss Hemminger says, Frank, just think of Fazio's legacy is stuck on stupid till they delete him from the server. Well, yeah, if you don't have an active show in so much time, a year or two or something, YouTube will actually delete your channel. That's what I understand. Somehow they know whether you're active or not. You know, I don't know how they do this, but they know. Yeah, that's hot stuff. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to have to hook up. I'll only be on for another 10 minutes, but while my tea is cooling off, let me turn this thing on the charger. I didn't realize, because I didn't charge it overnight. 2% power. So let me throw this on the charger for a little bit here. It'll give me a little more borrowed time. On with the show. This is it. Stage the lights. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we're hooked. We are hooked up. We are energized. There's not one person who's pretty well known on YouTube that don't have issues. Look at, got Philippine Antics. You got Philly in the Philippines. You got Jim's Asian Adventures. You got Philippines to the eyes of an expat, Steven. You got fucking Scotty. God, he almost got beat up by a lady boy. Man, I would love to see that happen to Ricky, man. Big size and all. I'd love to see some lady boy beat the shit out of Ricky. And Ricky was proud when he had his last show he just had on. He was talking about like going through his YouTube career, like there's some points to be scored. He even talked about and admitted again that he made out with a lady boy in a bar. It's almost like he was proud of it. That was like part of his portfolio, his dossier or something, that he was proud of the fact that all the adventures he's been through on here and everything he's done. He was actually praising, what he did with a lady boy. If that doesn't show the sickness in that guy, I don't know what will. Hemminger says, we better back up Fazio. It would be a tragic to have him forgotten right away. Mike K says, we all have our issues with very few exceptions. Everybody has issues and tissues, man. I got them. You got them. We all do. It's just the difference is how many issues you have. And these people have a lot of issues. The only real YouTuber that, and you don't know this guy, he's doing he's basically sailing around the world pretty much. Now he's just entered Papua New Guinea after being on the Solomon Islands.
It's really interesting because this guy shows you what supplies he picks up, everything. You learn about all that nautical stuff, on a sailing boat, and when he comes to port and what's involved, he's got to have his passport checked and get a visa, and they'll come out with him out with a boat taxi to come to him if he can't come inshore. Even anchoring, people think that's an easy thing to anchor your boat on a sailboat. It's really not, and it took them several hours to finally get that anchor, you know, where it was actually, you know, truly anchored and not going to allow the boat to drift. And what was going on with that? It's a beautiful boat too. It's him and his wife, and he's 40 and she's 33. And that's the most realistic show I've ever watched on here that's not full of shit. And it's really educational. It's you could actually live your life vicariously through this guy. It would be okay because not many people get to do that. And he tells you, how they store food, the equipment they got on the boat, what they eat. They have a dog and a cat on there, small dog. Um, it was really interesting because when he entered Papua New Guinea, some kids on a little canoe came up there to greet him and all that. He gave him some treats, and it's really interesting. It's real YouTube. It's real. It's reality. It's educational. It's entertaining. Everything you want from a YouTube show, which you just don't find on here, man. Yeah, Boat Life YouTube show. I don't know. He's the only one I ever followed. He might be even on now. Haven't just said there was a guy who used to sail a boat to Philippines and had a YouTube channel. He might have closed the channel years ago. You'd be surprised how many people are traveling because now, with all this modern equipment, GPS and everything they have now, and he just puts his boat on autopilot, but has to occasionally check things to see, of course, for some reason. I still think that's dangerous because you don't know if you're in the channel of a big ship or something like that. So you still have to check. He had a Filipino girlfriend on his boat. He would sail around Cebu. I mean, how the heck did he get a boat around the Philippines? I don't know. So many islands. I don't know. How about that guy that visited the Forbidden Island off India and got eaten? I never heard about that. Jermaine WP says even on autopilot, you wake up every 2 or 3 hours. You have to, man. You would have to do that. I wouldn't feel comfortable sleeping. As I said, the old sailing ships of the past, they did. They use a hemp rope tied to the steering wheel, and that wasn't the greatest thing because sometimes it would get loose or the hemp would break after a while and they go totally off course. They used the stars. They didn't have a sextant. They were out for a long time. Sextants. That was called sextants. I mean, ancient mariners. They followed the stars and stuff, and they managed to get where they wanted to get. I mean, it was pretty cool if you think about it. Frank, I'm going to baffle your mind. They had email back in the 1850s. How do you explain that? How did you know that anyway? How could they have email back in the 1850s? Listen carefully, Papa. You might actually learn something on my show. They used to send messages on electronic telegraph. Well, when did the telegraph come in? I don't recall when the introduction of the telegraph was, but no, it wasn't Edison. Who was it that really came up with the telegraph? I think that's amazing in itself. I do. Even for that time, I think it was awfully amazing. Before the electric telegraph, they used to use light and mirrors. Did you know that? And this is something that might a little bit of information even Popeye could learn about, but he wouldn't know this, even though he was a so-called sailor. Warships. This is going back centuries, I think. Long time. They used what we know as a parabolic reflector. They would gear the sun's heat rays onto another boat and set it on fire. Did you know that? Heminger, did you know that? They used parabolic reflectors. And it gathered so much heat rays from the sun that they were able to point it at other ships and get it on fire. Certainly, they would aim for the sails initially. And Heminger says in France and Europe in 1600s, they used to send messages across Europe in hours using code, using light and mirrors miles away at different nodes across Europe in hours. I didn't know that. Say it again. And Popeye sits down in the CR. He yells, "Torpedo door open!" He would do that. He probably sings or whistles all these nautical songs too. I wouldn't be surprised. He's wacky. He's wackadoodle, man. Totally wackadoodle. No, what I was saying, Hemorrhage, is that sailing ships ages ago used to actually deploy parabolic reflectors. Okay, and they would use the sun to concentrate heat toward another boat. And they would start, of course, the easiest thing was to go toward their sails and set it on fire. Yeah. Hammer says, yeah, it was like email in the 1850s. Think about it. You need to send a message, you dial it up, telegraph, and someone in Paris sent a message to Boston within hours. Yeah, I'm sure it was all amazing for the time. I'm sure they could never see the future that something like this is going on. The fact that we're on this phone right now, communicating each other from thousands of miles away in many cases, according to who's listening on here. It's all amazing. I still think it's amazing. People are so used to it. New generations are growing up with these electronic devices that would be nothing less than a miracle, 100 years ago. And it was used for the newswire, AP News. So they had internet in the 1850s. Think about it. A parabolic reflector. This is real. I'm not making it up. They actually incorporated parabolic, it was like a parabolic reflector to aim the rays of the sun to another ship. Yeah, for real. Most people don't know that. So you think it's a myth that the internet was 1980s. They had news wire and email. Okay, sort of, yeah, maybe they did. That I'm not aware of. I don't know everything. I know a lot about a lot of things and a little bit about a lot of things, but I don't know everything about everything. There's my speech. Jermaine says, I wish one of Popeye's nightmares would build a parabolic reflector. And Heminger said the Native Americans had email in the 1000s. Smoke signals. Oh, the waterman is here. Oh, well, we have 7 bottles to go out. 7 fucking bottles. Well, we go through water here like water. Popeye, so why don't you do a real show someday? It doesn't have anything to do with me. And talk about yourself. Tell us something interesting about your life. Never mind a round table where you got a blow job in Subic Bay. I mean, your stories are old as you are, man. You're an ancient mariner. You're just ancient, period. You live in the present, Popeye. You don't live in the past. The past was part of your life, absolutely, and maybe it shaped you into the asshole you are today, but you're living today. Enjoy your today and do things so you have a tomorrow, hopefully, and try to do something interesting with your life other than going to the bingo hall and occasionally go to the casino or do shows simulcasting your favorite person, me, Do you realize how sad that looks to people that listen to you? That's why they listen to you, Robert. They're laughing at you, not laughing with you. They're laughing at you, Robert. If you haven't been able to figure that out, Frank, I'm telling you stuff that not even Don C. What do you mean that not even Don C? Who's Don C supposed to be? The Don of YouTube? That like he's some kind of intelligent source for something? That even Don C doesn't know? Why do you use Don C? He's an idiot. It's a bad example that even Don C knows. I don't know what that means. Come on, get serious, man. Who the fuck is Don C? You know what I mean? Having says Don C, I don't think is as educated as he thinks. He probably doesn't even know that the transformer algorithms for AI are inferior and AI is a scam and needs a major breakthrough. Well, as I said, I don't know a lot about AI. I just see a lot of it on here. Actually, I don't like AI because when you go on the internet and you see all these feeds and stories, you don't know what's real or not anymore. It's so fucking real. Obviously, some of them you could figure out there's not 200 dogs floating down the river from the flood. Obvious things like that. A snake doesn't, turn out to be, as big as a building. I mean, there's obvious things are AI, but AI is not the best thing in the world. I mean, I miss the days when news was news through the AP wire system, and what people put on there was real. There was no editing, there was no artificial intelligence, there was nothing. And what people put on there was real. If somebody was getting hurt, there was an accident, it was real, or a story about somebody's life, it was real. There was no exaggeration, no hyperbole, nothing. It was just real facts caught on camera, and AI had nothing to do with it at all. But now, I don't believe 90% of the shit that I see on all these feeds that I look at and videos and stuff. You just can't. They fucked it up for themselves, really. He did a thesis in college on AI. You've done a lot of things, you say, haven't you? I don't know what to believe with you anymore. You do seem to have more intelligence than most people on here, but you got to understand, I don't believe everything you say. But you have proved to me that, compared to these other jamolis, as Popeye likes to call them, to have a little more intellect than most people on here, including myself, you're pretty sharp on some things. I could tell that you're educated one way or another. And you'll know the dumb shits on here like Popeye, where it's a badge of honor to be a fucking security guard at a base in Subic or something, using his so-called power because he carried perhaps a gun or a badge. They were kicking drunks around and shit like that. I know how that works. That was the biggest power he could have in his life. He felt very important. Look at it. Right. I took photography. I don't have a photographic for sure, but I tell you what, I do have a photographic memory for certain people on here and things they said about me and mine. I don't know how that works. All right, Colin Heminger. I didn't know rock climbing maps to map the terrain, including the slope, elevation, landmarks, like trees, and most efficient to go up a mountain. Well, I would think that if mountain climbers had half a brain, they would do such, plot their course like a ship would, know which is the safest way to ascend mountainside. Now, the people I think are the stupidest people in the world, the biggest chance takers in the whole entire world are climbers. Free climbers they're not tethered to anything. They fall, and I'm thinking, what are they trying to prove? There's always that chance that how much you talc up your hands, how strong your hands are, a rock can give way. I don't care how much they bang. I don't care what they do that has to do with safety on there. There's always something that could happen they didn't expect. I think those are the most ignorant people in the world. The biggest adrenaline junkies in the world has got to be a free climber. I've seen things where they're hanging underneath the ledge. I don't know how the hell they're doing that. I've talked to rock climbers in person and watched documentaries on the most elite rock climbers. I don't understand why they do that, especially if they have a family or something. You better have a good insurance policy. That's all I could say. See, everybody's got to be same as YouTubers. Everybody's got to be out there to prove themselves to somebody in one form or way. They always feel that they have to prove something. You don't have to prove anything on YouTube, man. Just do a good show. Talk about things people like to hear. Try to keep all the negative out, you know? But when you spend your time like Robert does, when you spend your time doing the shit he does, it doesn't make any sense at all, but it really paints a Rembrandt picture of his lifestyle that all he could do. And he has some editing talents. Why does he use it for something positive? He might be able to make some extra coins. If you got a talent, use it for the good. And people, you'll be able to get a lot of viewers. Even make a couple of extra coins in the bank to help if your mobility scooter breaks down or something. Frank, gotta admit, I'm giving you stuff that blows your mind. You do. How true it is, I don't know, but I go along with it. You're welcome to your opinion on my show. You could be the most intelligent motherfucker on here. I just wish you would just come out of the closet and get on camera and have your own show and share all your knowledge. People would take to you. I know you're afraid you're going to get hurt from all the people you've attacked on here, but I understand that. But some people could be forgiving. You've been entertaining people for a decade or more. Take a chance sometimes. Even I come on camera. So, but do what you must. Papa, have you heard enough? I'm afraid there's not too much you could use against me on this video. Sorry. I think we've had a pretty good dialogue on here. But then comes Popeye Silica. He'll go, well, there you go. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Wasting your life on me. In some respect, I think there's a possibility that Popeye's actually attracted to me. We don't know which direction he took in life. He could go both ways. I think he's attracted to me. I think he likes my voice. He likes my stories. He will not admit that. Why would you concentrate on somebody as deeply as Popeye does if they did not have some kind of interest in you one way or the other? If they didn't find you to be fascinating, who else would spend the time that he does on one person? Because most of his shows are about me. He's obviously simulcasting me at this moment. What does that say about him? I think it speaks volumes. Let's be glad Ricky isn't attracted, Frank, because that would be an awkward dinner. I think the Hungarian sausages were phallic symbols. I think they were phallic symbols for him. I don't know, man. I don't know anything really. I know what I know, and I know what I know what I know. You know what I mean? I know what I know what I know. I know what I think I know. But like anybody else, I gather the facts and I decipher whether it's true or not what I hear on YouTube. And some of it is pretty easy to figure out who's bullshitting another person or not. Look, you could talk about any lie about any person on here, but the same people are spewing lies. they got a good idea what the person's lifestyle is really all about, but they're not going to admit it. They've sent them into a tailspin, you know. I think they should just concentrate on their own lives, on what can possibly make their life a lot better, man. As I said, you got this one time around. It's called life, and it's got this one time around. You can go any second, any minute. I can go any second. I mean, you can go any second. Can you kind of absorb that and digest that, Popeye? Do something positive. Get out of the house more. Go to those parks. You like to take your little mobility scooter to. You know, whistle a couple of ladies out there. Give them a little whistle or something. Let them know you're interested or something. One of them might bite. You never know. They might take on to you. Stranger things have happened. Why not, why not take a chance, man? Let's see if this tea is. It's barely drinkable. I don't want to, I don't want to burn my esophagus here. It's probably okay, but I gotta wait till it cools down just a wee skosh bit more. Well, I'm gonna end the show in a few minutes here because my battery's also low. But there's certain things I gotta do this morning besides drink my tea. I gotta do a little bit of exercise. I may eat first, then exercise. I don't know. A couple of days I've been skipping here and there. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything, you know. I do that here and there. Ricky is a bad actor. He tries to think he's convincing, but he's grade F. Well, as I said, Ricky's got some issues. He might eventually have to get off because there's a lot of things he's not telling you. It's about his health. Yeah. I personally think there's some real serious issues going on with Ricky. I'm not going to come out and admit it. They may throw hints at it. Shh, quiet. They may throw hints now and then. You got to catch it. But a lot of them have some really, really serious health issues that they're dealing with. They're not going to come out and tell you unless it becomes too obvious and someone sees something in their face or something and you got to say something. Ever see how red Ricky's face sometimes gets too? That's what, hypertension and all kinds of shit, diabetes, all that shit, man. It's real. This is the real McCoy. It's the real deal. They're not in good shape. Most of the popular people you hear on it are not in good shape. Look at Jim. Jim's Asian Adventures. That fucking guy. It's like you would think that everything he's doing is scripted for stupidity. No, it's real, man. The guy admits he was into crack, cocaine, and all kinds of shit growing up, and he's still taking shit now. The guy who flexes his muscles like he thinks he's some kind of a Superman when he gained his muscles from fucking chemistry, from steroids. It's nothing to be proud of, I don't think. And he's just drunk and belligerent all the time. He will never. The reason he's hanging on with his talk and thoughts about Dexel, because that's the only seemingly serious relationship he's had in his life. That's it. He's talking a lot of hate talk about her and all that shit because he didn't like to be dumped, never married. I think he said he has children or something. I don't know. Maybe he didn't have children. No. But yeah, he's a prime example of what could go wrong mentally and physically. Jim is not in good shape. He is not in good shape. He's not very well mentally and physically. And for a guy, and you can say this about me, yeah, I'm health conscious to a point, but hey, I admit I got one vice. Absolutely. I never said I didn't. I never said that it wasn't bad. But like I said, you got to do something good to yourself. And these people just let themselves go. Jim chews tobacco. That's even worse than smoking cigarettes, man. That's like an immediate invitation to mouth cancer, throat cancer right there. And also, What woman is going to want to be with a man who chews tobacco, as they like to call it? That is the most disgusting thing in the world. Back in the old West, wasn't just the old West. These saloons would have these spittoons because the guys were actually spitting their tobacco all over the floor. So somebody came up with the, I'm sure Heminger would say something about that, right? So basically, they had to get a spittoon, and it had to be somebody who had to clean that shit out too. It was nasty in the old West, especially. The stories about how they really lived in the old West. It was disgusting. Horse shit all over the street, human feces and everything they just throw away. It was disgusting. They try to glamorize the old West, but there was nothing glamorous about the old West. And during medieval times, they used to also throw their poop out the tower windows. It was so absolutely nasty. There was no such thing as waste control and nothing like that. People complain about maybe say that Philippines is not very hygienic and all that, but let me tell you, compared to medieval times and beyond, and if you want to go to the old West, as we glamorize it in America, the old West, is nothing glamorous at all. People barely bathed. A lot of times they never even had water to cleanse themselves. And when you're on a saddle all the time, you have a chance to bathe, and they smelled like urine and shit. They would get chapped between the groin area, big rashes that turned into something that would kill them later on. Everything was thrown in the streets. Even in Italy and other places, in England, they used to throw their waste out the window onto the, I'd say there were sidewalks, but they weren't real sidewalks, just dirt, soil. It was nasty. We've come a long way, but people don't always live a very hygienic lifestyle. We need a frank Library of Congress, a life archive of all your streams as a legacy. Okay, lucky number 13. We're going to have to get off here now because my battery's running down. I'm going to try to finish off my tea and try to figure what I'm going to have for breakfast. I don't know what I feel like. Leftover lasagna from last night? No, maybe we should save that for lunch. I'll enjoy it for a lunch. Whatever's left over, I'm grabbing it. Me and Gilda. Kids can open up a can of sardines. They love that shit. Oh, good God. Jeez. But I'm just trying to think. I've been having eggs lately for breakfast, but I don't want to have too many eggs. I put them in wraps too. I got these flour tortilla wraps that I put the eggs in. Scrambled eggs. It's pretty good. Uh, okay, well, find something else to listen to this morning because I'm out of here. Popeye, now you can do your little soliloquy. But just know one thing, Popeye. You are such a pompous fucking ass. You know that? Get a life, or at least get a resemblance of a life. Impress us for once. Find a fucking real hobby. I'm not your hobby, but you're making me your hobby, which says volumes about what your life is really like, Robert. And that's pretty.
All right, there you go. Another fun filled simulcast. Welcome in, everybody, from Mike Dowdy to Mike Luna to Chris Cato, Chris Travels, A similar cron. We got them all in here tonight. We got Steve 25901. All right, let's wrap up our poll tonight. End poll. There we go. The poll was those channels that support Frank, do they think it's okay to be a pedophile? 58% said no, and 42% said yes. Now, that was out of 31 votes. Okay. So tonight I got 28 in the live chat. That about wraps that up. Now, the reason why I asked that question, because I see Heminger in there. Heminger's blowing smoke up his ass. And I see a few others. He does have some flying monkeys, but I don't know. I wouldn't go around ruining my reputation supporting him. Okay. He does have some true supporters. Now, let's talk about what an illiterate fuck this guy is. Sunday night, I was busy, football, cookout, whole 9 yards. Okay. Sunday's a day of rest. So at the end of his live stream, he starts crying and whining and Popeye in his little soliloquies. All right. And I've gone through this before. I do not do soliloquies. A soliloquy is a speech delivered by a character who is alone on a stage expressing their inner thoughts and feelings directly to the audience. It often reveals the character's motivation and emotions. That's what you do, partly, Frank. Okay. What I do is a monologue. A monologue is a speech given by a character to another character, which is you, Frank. All right. And the audience. It can occur in the presence of others and is used to convey thoughts, feelings, or a narrative. Okay. And my narrative is my monologues is to show Frank that number one, you are an illiterate. Number two, Frank, you are a fucking pedophile. Right? These are my narratives here. For a guy who spent 8 years flailing around in college trying to get a bachelor's degree, which you never obtained in photography, is just fucking hilarious. So you didn't have to go to Vietnam. You didn't have to go to work. Okay? See, Frank, you do not get it both ways. It doesn't work like that. Frank, here's even more proof of your illiteracy. Tonight, you talked about parabolic reflectors being used to burn other ships. Well, Frank, this is what Wikipedia says. Okay. Did ships ever use parabolic reflectors? The use of parabolic reflectors by ships is a topic of historical debate. When there is no direct evidence of the ships using parabolic reflectors, the concept of the using of the mirrors to focus light has been explored in various contexts. Hey, so Frank, if you're going to go digging around the internet, do not take a small amount of information and making it it into something that you think is true. Frank, go back, take remedial English, take remedial math, and take remedial history. Okay? Do us all that favor, Frank, please. So, Frank, in turn, I hope you learned something tonight. Oh, man. He reads some crazy crap and passes it off as knowledge. Exactly. That's what I'm saying here. Right? And this is what a functional illiterate will do. He'll get a little information, try to sound important, trying to sound knowledgeable, and he knows it all. But in all actuality, he don't know shit. He's just trying to build himself. Another thing he's done tonight is that if you notice, he was quite extensive with the Popeye bashing. Okay. This is what narcissists will do. When you're doing something that aggravates a narcissist or makes a narcissist look bad, they will try to shame you into stop doing it. Okay. They will try and shame that person's supporters or friends also. So you stop doing it. This is typical narcissistic behavior. He's under the table working for tips. And there's not much more to say about that. Now, am I going to come on here and tell Frank the details of my life? No. And I will be quite honest why I won't do that. It's very simple. Because Frank is at the point where he has to make up shit about me and he looks fucking stupid. People are laughing. All right. So I'm not giving him any details of my life, who I know, where I go. I've given people broad strokes. Yes, I spent 20 years in the military. Okay. That alone is something Frank has never done. He's never held a job for 20 years straight. He's gone from college to job to SSDI. Okay. And when this guy talks about doing karate moves and this and that, and what is it, Frank? Are you disabled? Or can you kick people's asses? You don't get it both ways. Okay. You don't get it both ways. It doesn't work like that, Frank. Okay. So now, Frank, I hope you can remember the difference between a soliloquy and a monologue. I hope you understand that burning ships with a parabolic mirror is debated and not proven. Okay? Frank, every time you open your fucking fly trap, you just prove how fucking stupid you are. Without a doubt. In my military mind, Frank, you just prove how fucking stupid you are. Right? No college education, no bachelor's degree for you, Frank. No, that's all a lie. It's been proven. Frank, you owe $60K in Hawaii and you won't pay it. Okay? Frank, you sat a boy on your lap and sang about another man's penis, you've proven you're a fucking pedophile. Right? Frank, any woman that's ever opposed you on YouTube, you have said horrendous things about. Yeah, yeah, he's not even a parabolic. He's only got one ball. Hey, Frank, it is what it is. Now, Frank only has two scenarios left. Okay? Scenario number one, he's going to have a medical fucking crisis, and it may end in death. Okay? Taking that much Lexapro and downing all them vitamins and sucking down that tea, that shit's not good for you, son. Really not. Hey, that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is sooner or later, they're going to come pick you up, Frank. Because more than likely, you're going to piss another Filipino off and they're going to be making a complaint. And you just about reached that point with what you said about yachts and Mick Fisher. I have the video. And Frank is a little upset tonight because in my last monologue, I told Frank, hey, bro, I will gladly give yachts a couple of $1,000 to haul your ass into court for cyber libel. Okay? So, Frank, again, your fucking dump truck mouth is writing checks that your fucking hummingbird ass can't handle. Frank, you're 71 years old. You're an old fucker. You're fucking broken down. And it's as simple as that. Okay? You can't even ride that electric fucking trike that you got. You're afraid to get in it. Okay? The children in your home don't respect you. This is what Filipino kids do when they don't respect you. They leave clothes in the washing machine. They leave dishes out. Why do they do all that? Because they know you're a little bitch, Frank, and you're going to clean it up. Okay? Those children are fucking smart. They know who the bitch of the household is. It's not Gilda. It's you, Frank. You're the maid. And you know why, Frank? Because you bought the house and it's in her name. Okay? And they made you the maid and they let you stay because you get a little crust of bread every month. And, they want to partake in that. But, Frank, I can guarantee you the minute you're not bringing in any money or you become a burden, they will fucking throw you out. Okay? And I have proof of that. If you watch the Check Out the Rileys, okay, Bam got thrown out of the family's house. Why? Because he was bringing no money in and he was a pain in the fucking ass. Okay? So when your money stops coming, Frank, you'll be in the same position as Bam for Check Out the Rileys. You'll get fucking thrown out. Guaranteed. That's what fucking happens. Okay? Mark my words. So, guys, that's my monologue tonight. And I want to thank you for showing up. And I'll just say good night to you all. And this is Popeye 1. I'm out of here.